This is really hot, hold on. It's very high. No, because it might break. I guess what should we show them? Because that's safety. I would pull them out with my hands. Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Isabel. I'm from Houston, the melting pot of Texas, and I'm here to help you cheat your way through your favorite Asian recipes. Today we are making pork bao. Not that kind of bao, but the pocket kind of bao. So that's what bao kind of means, and you see it throughout a lot of different Asian cultures. I'm making one that I grew up eating, and it's a Filipino version. So it's pork asado siopao. So that's what we call bao in our language. Basically means stir-fried pork inside of a steamed bun, and that's what we're doing today. So I would consider a bao or a siopao kind of to be like a snacky food. It's something you always have on hand. These freeze really, really well, and then you just warm it up in the microwave. And it's just something we would grab when we were hungry, kind of like a Hot Pocket. Yeah, like an American Hot Pocket. This would be the Asian version of that. I grew up eating this. We would get it at different like Filipino and Chinese markets and stuff, but my mom would always dog on all of them. She would say, oh, mine's better. I'm 28 years old and I've never tried her bao. So she loved to talk big game, but I've never actually tried her version. So I had to come up with my own, and I think this one is the best one. So we have a hot pan over here, and we are going to start with making the filling. And that consists of pork belly. You can use really any kind of pork that you can kind of mince up into little 1-inch cubes. Philippines is a very pork-friendly country. We love a nose to tail. Every part of the pig is used, and we love it, and it's delicious. Definitely one of my favorite proteins to work with. And we have some onion, we have some garlic, of course. I have some really great pantry staples here. We have some oyster sauce, and it's cooked down with oysters. So you get a little bit of that savoriness that you don't get from just regular soy sauce. It just adds different levels to the flavor, and it's a little thicker and sweeter, and it just complements everything here. We are also using hoisin sauce. Brings a really great sweetness to the dish. You'll see it in a lot of Chinese cooking, a lot of Vietnamese cooking, like a bowl of pho. You have a little dish of hoisin for the dipping, or you put it in your broth. Check out my easy chicken pho recipe. The link is down below. And then we're gonna add an ingredient we know and love across Asia, and that is soy sauce. And it's just gonna bring everything together and add a savory kick, and of course a bit of salt too. Then of course we have some cornstarch for the thickening and some sugar. So this is a little bit of a sweeter dish. Think like sweet barbecue pork inside of a steamed bun. Okay, so I want to dice this onion pretty small because I want it all to kind of disappear and the pork really be the star of the show. So we're gonna do a nice fine dice. I'm just gonna run my knife through it one more time just so it's nice and small. And then we're gonna get our garlic ready too. So I've peeled this garlic. I'm just gonna smash it with the back of my knife and mince it really fine. I would say like 99% of Filipino recipes have these two ingredients right here. We've got your garlic, we've got your onion, and it just completes everything. Just run your knife through it. Keep these fingers bent because you don't wanna chop those off. Okay. Pretty hot, like medium-high heat, and then I'm gonna add some oil to the pan. There we go. Okay. We're gonna start with sauteing these onions. And you wanna soften them quite a bit before you add your pork. So I'm just moving these around, letting them get a little translucent. Here is the big hack of the day. We're not making our own dough. I know, keep watching, don't judge me too much, but I mean, sometimes you don't have time. Pillsbury Grands, just OG Southern home style. I guess that's where the Texas part comes in. And I can't tell the difference. Don't tell all the titas and lolas and grandmothers, this is what I'm using today. And I think you should try it at least once. There are a lot of different fillings that you can play around with. You can work with minced pork, add some veggies in there, maybe some cabbage, keep it more simple. And you can actually wrap those raw and they'll steam while they're cooking. This version, I'm cooking the filling, so the cook time's a lot shorter because all you have to do is steam the outside. All right, now let's add our pork. So I have diced this pork into 1-inch kind of bite-sized pieces. They'll shrink a little bit. We're using pork belly today, so we get a lot of that really great fattiness to it. I know this feels a little sacrilege. It feels a little wrong not to salt and pepper your protein, but we have so much salt coming from these ingredients here. You're not gonna miss it. Okay, so I'm gonna let that cook down just a little bit before we add our garlic. The reason I'm not adding it right away is because we don't want it to burn and overcook. So once it's like halfway cooked, we'll add the garlic to it. I know this seems like a crazy amount of sauce, but I would say Asians are a very saucy group of people. We love all the special things that each sauce brings to the dish. I know it seems like a lot, but once your pantry is stocked, these things are gonna last you a really long time and you're gonna get to use them in a lot of different dishes. So with the pork belly, you're gonna wait for that color to change. It's gonna start to whiten and lighten once it cooks, and then you see it kind of firm up a little bit. That's when you can start adding all your other ingredients. And the reason I have it on like a medium heat is because you don't want it to cook so fast that it gets tough. You kind of want it to simmer and slow cook so that fat renders out. It really depends on what cut of meat you're working with. All right, so I'm gonna start adding our other ingredients. Here we have some of the oyster sauce. And then we have our hoisin. Oh, can't reach it. This one's not very glamorous. Okay. And our soy sauce. That may feel like a lot, but there's really no salt or anything in the bun. So all of that flavor is coming from the filling. And in Filipino cooking, we love a very balanced, sweet, savory situation. So we are gonna add some sugar too. And that's gonna help kind of thicken things up a little bit. And it just makes these siopao or bao buns super addicting. So let's let that simmer and hang out and just marinate in those sauces, and then we'll add our cornstarch. Okay, let's get our cornstarch slurry. Always, big sis tip, cornstarch to cold water. I know to some of you more advanced cooking folks, this seems like common sense. I didn't do that for a long time. And my sauces would never thicken, but this is what it needs to activate before you add it to the main dish. You really want to mix, mix, mix until it is totally unrecognizable. You don't want to see water and cornstarch. It is now just a cornstarch slurry. So no clumps because those are gonna show up in your filling. Okay, so see that this is getting a little thicker. We're gonna thicken it up a little bit more and just add a bit of cornstarch to it. There we go. Okay, so we're working with our Pillsbury dough. Do we wanna show this? Like, okay, I hate opening these. I really do. I'm stressed already. I don't understand why such a comforting ingredient is so stressful in the beginning. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Hold on. We're gonna do a spoon, or I can just, I hate that part. It's okay, that's as stressful as this gets. It's not that bad, I promise. The great thing is these are already separated for you. You don't have to go through the trouble of making that dough, portioning them out and rolling them out. It's a whole thing. It's delicious. Both ways are delicious, but this just makes your life so much easier. So while the pork is cooling, I have a pot of boiling water and my bamboo steamer. You can also use a pot of boiling water with like a steamer attachment, a strainer on top. As long as you have a pot of boiling water, something to hold the buns above it, you're good to go. And when your pork is nice and cool and easy to handle, you take your dough and you're gonna wanna flatten it out just a little bit. You can use your fingers, you can use a rolling pin. Now I'm going to add just a spoonful of this pork asado mixture that we made earlier. This dough is pretty stretchy, so you have some room to add. Okay, and so this is the part that may be a little bit intimidating. You can pleat and pinch if you want, but the great thing is that this part where you're closing it up, it doesn't need to be pretty because it's gonna be on the bottom. So we're gonna pinch. It's okay if some of that comes out, just stretch that dough over. Pinch, pinch, and then, so it doesn't stick to our bamboo steamer, you put some parchment paper on the bottom, turn it over seam side down, like that. And it's gonna go into our bamboo steamer, whatever steamer setup you have going on. And they're gonna expand a little, so you want to make sure they have some room to grow. I have so many memories of assembling food for my mom. So whether it's like wrapping egg rolls or dumplings or something like that, and even just putting together these baos, just reminds me of cooking with her. It's pretty cool. And this is something you can do with your little ones too, because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a lot of fun. Just have them do the stretchy part, then you can do the rest. Okay, put some pork in the middle. And then you want to stretch and just pinch, have like a pinch to work off of, and then you can kind of go around. This pinch and pleat motion, I'm used to it because you actually do it with dumplings too. Check out our easy dumpling recipe down below. And then parchment paper, seam side down. You're gonna add it in here with its friend. Look, it's already steaming up. Ouch, it's hot. And again, the great thing about this is you're not having to worry about the meat cooking because you already did that part. All you have to do is make sure that these buns are nice and steamed and they're ready to eat. Let it hang out over some boiling water for about 15, 20 minutes. You don't want to keep checking on it too much because then that steam will be released. Check on it maybe at the 15-minute mark and then see how much longer you need to go. So the characteristic part about this type of bao or shou pao is the chewy outside. This is really hot, hold on. And another reason we put that parchment paper on the bottom is it helps you take them out. All right, so let's pull this guy out. Here we go. And there are our pork asado shou pao buns, or bao, pork bao. All right, let's dig in. So my favorite part about eating shou pao is peeling off that paper and breaking it open. You get that porky goodness on the inside. There's that gravy in there, the bread is holding it all together, and it's just ready for you to stuff in your face. Like and subscribe for more Asian food hacks and tricks.